Chemtrails are they caused by all sorts of chemicals created by all these sort of like modification weather companies who obviously contract by government and being private companies and all that, are sadly littering our skies with loads of saw-like grid reference white lines, which are the equivalent of snorting cocaine or white powder that you would probably, unfortunately, use as sugar. Let alone that it's unsnortable, of course. It'd probably give you brain damage if you snort it all the way up the nose. But other than that, it's the sort of chemicals released into our skies that worryingly, unfortunately, is what's causing heavy pollutions that may be very harmful, and of course are being used as we know it, who knows, possibly by the New World Order, to exterminate the population very slowly. Or as Michael Caine's character from Christmas Carol, was it, Ebenezer Scrooge would like to put it, decreasing the surplus population. Yes. So, and which is probably not also helped by the HARP program, which is kind of like the Aurora HARP. I can't fully spell it properly because I didn't fully memorise the damn words. So well, it's known as the Aurora HARP, sort research program, some sorts, which I know I mentioned in my last video before, and what has been used. Some would like to call it the ultimate death ray weapon that the government, of course, created to use to control people's minds, as well as alternate the weather and do all sorts of electromagnetic damage of all types. I mean, there's no telling what these sort of weapons are for in the wrong hands. And I think that's what the HARP program's been used to kind of push all these sort of chemtrail chemicals into the atmosphere with the death ray when activated, and kind of of epic proportions create tornadoes, typhoons, cyclones, hurricanes, etc. Also, the amount of taxpayers' money worldwide that it's using up. Because I would have thought, these sort of research programs, when finally contracted and put together, and they must absolutely use up to sort of millions. No, I say up to billion, or I say trillions of an amount of money. That's a lot of zeros we're talking about. Yeah, not worth thinking, not something I can afford on my own budget. £60. Think about it, how the technology has developed over the last few decades. I mean, man has leapt 1,000 folds since his evolution to create such. But why create? I mean, the original, like I said before, the original inventor created it for good that can be used to help bring, rain to the other parts of the earth that weren't getting enough, whilst taking away from those that were being over flooded. It was basically trying to rebalance the weather, but the military, like I said before, got involved and turned it into a weapon, which was never the original intention of the inventor and creator of HARP. What can unfortunately be used for good can sadly also be used for evil as well. And thinking of the crisis and all the amount of news and recent events and stories that have been happening over in Syria, who's to stop the US government from using the HARP programs? That of President Vladimir Putin's demanding Obama and his administration give more crucial evidence, because so far the weapons inspectors have done all their test results, and some are saying, it's the rebels, and others saying it's Assad, but they haven't fully completed their research as to who or what was behind the attacks. The fact that David Cameron finally backed down after losing the vote in Parliament to take military action, was it really done with all fully intent purposes, or was the whole thing a complete smokescreen to make it look like it was favourable people, while secretly it was shadowy being done without our knowing? We don't know. Obviously, there was a third party involved, possibly private agencies hired by the CIA or that of MI6 to help do their dirty work, so no one would ever find out. Make it look like as if either Assad or this regime or the Syrian rebels did it. Play both sides for fools. It's like a game of chess out there. Who will make their next move on with all the pieces? Who will sacrifice their queen, let alone any? Well, it's more like they'll sacrifice the pawns rather than all the mighty wealthy ones. Therefore, henceforth, they'll all be pawns. The simple place that it used to be back in the good old-fashioned days of the early 20th century, the 21st century. It's a lot more complex and sophisticated and complicated now than it ever was before. There's no black and white. There's only grey areas. I've seen the best as well as that of the worst of humanity. Hard to imagine that Obama still wants to get approval from the Senate to go in there solo, with or without the UK. Don't know what, and apparently some say, oh, this is damaged international relations between the US and the UK. I don't know why a lot of people make that. I don't know. I'm also worried that the world's going to annihilate itself in some like thermonuclear World War III type scenario. What are we as humanity doing to ourselves as well as this planet? Never mind the New World Order, the Illuminati, Freemasons. I'm talking about, like, as a whole. What are we doing